A very busy one there in the part of the globe there, especially for those we have quite a lot of Africans that are studying there, especially in the medicine, the medical line. Quite a number of them, but I'm sure
A very busy one there.
But I am sure that diplomatic will solve the issue. Nobody wants to see a war in the 21st century because human lives will be lost during that kind of
especially,
That is very true. Well, listeners, it's now time for updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki. So we're going to crack on. We're going to be looking at some of the stories that are making around this morning. Interestingly, the topmost that I wanted to talk about is a statement that was made by the president. He said, I could have done better if given more support. Buhari is lamenting President Muhammad Buhari, saying he could have done better and he got more support from Nigerian business, political media, and civil society leaders. But he is in the helm of government. He is in the driving seat. He can decide to invite people and then they will come in, organizations. He could have done that. So why is he complaining? Does he want to now just jump ship now or maybe resign and go? Yeah, he's a failure. So let's get him out. Why is he saying that or making that statement?
Well, I mean, we've got to understand that it's been a very 6 year coming up to the last lap of this. As you can think of it, there's quite a stroke 2015. There was also quite a lot of tension, within the that election, because remember, the PDP have been in power for a very long time, and eventually, it seemed people were tired, of the PDP. They wanted to get rid of the PDP so that they can have something different. And yes, they did have something different, but it was not just something different. It was a merger between it was a merger between couple of political parties that came together to form what we can call the APC, the All Progressive Congress. But if we now review back, for those that have been following the trend back in Nigeria up till now, the question a lot of people have been asking is what would be the legacy of not just the president, but also the legacy of the political party that took the mantle from the PDP. So what Buhari was saying is I could have done better if given more support. According to him, it is our wish to finish strong in the next 16 months and ensure that all hands on deck. There's quite a bubbling, there's quite a lot of things that we will discuss. The issues of the insecurity in Nigeria that this former retired general promised a lot of Nigerians that I will be coming in and I will be doing everything to make sure that we can take off, these terrorists that have been operating with impunity in Nigeria. Not just that alone. Also, if we look at the inflation in Nigeria as of today, the inflation is growing on a daily basis. Nigerians are also wondering in terms of the debt in Nigeria. That as well is a big issue. So there's quite a lot of issues on the table. Again, a lot of people are asking for the restructuring of the country from some part of the society in the country, especially those from the Afenifere, the Pan-Yoruba group that says we must restructure this country before heading to the 2023 general election. Also, Mr. Archie and our listeners, also people have been talking about the 1999 constitution that was put together by a couple of military people during the transition coming into the 1999 election, that even now we realize that the former president Olusegun Obasanjo never saw that constitution while it was also being put in as a president. That is still there as well. Then we also have the revolution now, that are saying that things is not working. And then we have the last lap, those that are saying enough is enough, self-determination is the only way out of this country. So you can see this government has a lot to handle before the next 16 months. I'll come back again to you in the studio. If you're just joining us, it is Starr Radio UK, where this 2022 will be bringing you everything you need to know happening in Nigeria, and also to Nigerians and those that are saying, do not call me Nigeria. I want to be known as the Yoruba or the Biafra. But like Frank will say, Nigeria is still a sovereignty country. Until that happens, we will say Nigerians. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki bring you out this from Nigeria. But tell me, now let's talk about the APC. Now, how formidable is the APC? We know that it is, as you said earlier on, it's a group of parties that came together to have that formidability to be able to wrestle power from the PDP with the mandate. Now, we see a typical case in what they call it, Gambia, where they came together to get Yahya Jammeh out. Now, when we're going for the next election, they decided, no. Adama Barrow said, no, I'm not going to leave power. No, I'm just going to be there. And therefore, decided to break away from that group. Are we going to see anything of the sort when it comes to the APC, or you think, no, it's a party that has come to stay, very formidable, and they will be there?
Well, for me, very formidable when they were trying to kick out the PDP of the Jonathan, after PDP thought they were going to be there for a very long time, but eventually, they were kicked out, in 2014, 2015. It was very tension as at that period. But the question you just asked is APC still the APC that we know when they were coming in and trying to rustle the power? Power is one thing that the politicians around the globe wants to hold on to. We can see the situation now in this country where the Prime Minister Boris Johnson is kind of trying to hold on to the power, even though some of his cabinet and those the bench are now not having confidence in him. Do those within the politicians, the political gladiators, still have belief in the APC? Time will tell. Some of them have declared their intention for the 2023 general election, while some are still hiding under the surface. We will know within the next couple of months. And when that eventually come out, somebody like the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, is still having the intention to run. He hasn't said so, but we can see the line being written across the wall. Is APC going to hold till 2023? I can assure you from the indication, APC might end up breaking into a couple of more parties, and the same goes with the PDP.
Wow. Listeners, Starr Radio UK. Now let's go to, now we've seen military coups in some French countries. Now, Buhari says that, well, military coup cannot happen in Nigeria again. Why? Has Nigeria breaks maybe the military have now decided to sign maybe an undertaking that they will never conduct any coup, no matter even if the population are calling for that they are in a desperate situation. What is happening there?
Well, for whatever reason, Mr. Archie, for the last 2 months, during some of my own, interaction with with our listeners that are, and even on the diaspora, Nigeria diaspora, we've always been talking about, are we going to see a military coup in Nigeria? And should we see one, what should be the reaction of Nigerians as at this particular time that I've just told you so many things that have been, bubbling inside Nigeria? Some even say Nigeria is sitting on the keg of a gunpowder because there's a lot of tension in the country. Should there be a military coup? Will there be a military coup? Time will also tell. But from what you said, yes, Buhari says there will not be a military coup, even though we've seen, military coup happening across different parts of the African countries. But he insisted that coup should not be tolerated in Africa. But we've seen that this is still happening in 21st century. President Muhammadu Buhari says military coup cannot happen in Nigeria again. He was responding to one of the Southwest governors, known as Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State. Ekiti State is now full of all kinds of different terrorism activities, just as any other part of the country, from the Midwest to the Northwest to the Southeast. But he was responding to what he said when that governor said resurgency of military takeover in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso in the August of 2022 to September to January, respectively. But Buhari asserted that he strongly believes that Nigeria has passed through that stage for good. But like I said, time will tell if we can have or see in our lifetime. The last military coup was not a very good one because we saw the implication that led to an election that was eventually annulled by the former military dictator Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. He's somewhere in Mina, where he's still there. But the late Chief M.K. Abiola, that was a trusted friend of the military hierarchy. He was a trusted friend of the international community. But eventually, that election was most the fairest among any election that you can talk of. Not even the 1959 election that took place before the 1960 independence. But what I can tell you now, do we have some kind of generals past and present, thinking, documenting, maybe we should have another coup. Nigerians will tell when that time comes. I come back again to you in the studio.
Well, we hope that coup doesn't happen, but we were hoping that way. But three had happened. Yes, over a period of what, a year, we've seen three coups d'etats happening in the sub-region. But well, we hope the best, all the best for Nigeria. We don't want anything of the sort to happen. We hope that the federal government will sit up and make sure that people live their lives and go about their duties perfectly. Now let's quickly have a look at Chief Sunday IGBOHO's case. Now, is he still in Benin?
Well, yes, it's exactly 6 months and some couple of days today that, he was eventually stopped on his way to Germany on the 19th of July, 2021. There's been a lot of question to why Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho is still being held in Benin Republic, even though some of his cases has been won square with the government back in Nigeria. But we can now say that the situation, according to what the lawyer are telling us, is that it seems the judicial system doesn't seem to be favoring Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho in Benin Republic. Yes, I mean, I can see the way you put the eyes up there. It's just the same thing that happened across the African countries where the judicial system tend to be tampered or temperamented with some of their leaders, like President Practice Talon. You would expect that it would allow the judicial system to play through. But as I speak to you right now, it's still in Benin Republic. There's a lot of pressure from the international community, from the Yoruba outside the country. And just like I said in that, the message we put out there, there was been a lot of communique that has been coming out in the last couple of days, just as it's been done in the last couple of the 6 months that Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho has been held, as a political prisoner in Benin Republic.
But the youth of the Apex Yoruba youth are calling for the government, the federal government, to make sure that he is brought back into the country or is released. Now, if he's released, he comes into the country, then we're going to have the, what do you call them, my people who are above the law, once again, going to hold him there. So what would be the point?
Well, you're quite right. And I believe from, again, indication, people are saying as much as Benin Republic doesn't want to release him, but they are not also ready to let him return back as a guarantee from the information from his legal advisor that he will not be able to be returned to Benin Republic. Yes, some individuals have been saying that let him come back to Nigeria, but like you said, we saw what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It was rendition, kidnapped from Kenya back to Nigeria. As I speak to you, yes, we've not been on air, but I'm sure you've been briefing those. He had his last court appearance on the 18th, and you can tell that even though the judge did request that he must not come back to the court the next day with the same outfit, when the judge saw Nnamdi Kanu again, he thought maybe it was a new outfit that was just a different. But again, it shows that the legal system in Nigeria doesn't seem to be working, and that is why, again, some say Benin Republic, as much as it's not really talking too much on Sunday Igboho's case, but is not also ready to give it back to the big elephant that has been bullying him right close to the doorstep. Because remember, it was this same president that locked the border of Benin Republic linking to the southwest, whereas in the north side of the country, the border was open for so many infiltrated of terrorist activities, weapons coming through. People are just coming in when the border doesn't seem to be functioning up north. But in the southwest, it has been a toss between Patrick Talon and President Muhammadu Buhari because of the border closure. So it looks like he's now saying, well, I've got Sunday Igboho. He's a big player, somebody that is well important in the society. We will keep him. Nigeria is saying, give it back to us. And you can see that it's now become the big elephant and a little bit of, the tiny ant there saying, no, we're not ready to give it back to you.
I see. Interesting. I hope that is not, they're not holding him there to play a chess with. No, I hope that that's not what they are doing. But listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 16 minutes past the top of the hour at the time. Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. So now let's come back to you and then bring us some of the other stories making the rounds there. Over to you, sir.
Yes, as yesterday, once again, if you've just joined us, this is your favorite Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, where we're transmitting from London. Yesterday was a very dramatic one. We saw, the minister. I mean, remember the governor that gave the minister for happiness, Okorocha, is now declaring to also be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the upcoming election in the next couple of. I'm going to give us the timeline of when that election is coming, but the charges were filed, and not just that he was coming out to declare his intention to be the president. As he was doing so, it seems the EFCC were also waiting for him. According to the economic financial crime charges Okorocha with 2.9 billion naira fraud. These charges were laid yesterday in Abuja at the Federal High Court. According to the Economic and the Financial Crimes Commission, known as the EFCC, as charged, the Nigerian senator is the current senator, the previous governor as well of Imo State, Okorocha, with allegation he conspired with others, including an APC politician, 5 companies, to steal 2.9 billion from the public coffer. I can tell you that I was able to listen to the interview that was granted to Okorocha yesterday in response to this allegation, and he said again, it seems the EFCC is abusing his human right. And that makes me think about some of the human rights of those that he must have trampled with while he was the governor. And it shows that sometimes, whenever you are in power, you must also remember that the power doesn't belong to you forever. So Okorocha says it's just all politics, nothing of sort. He even said that he's been wealthy before he became a governor. He become more poorer after becoming the governor of Imo State. That even according to him, the security vote is still being held to him to the tune of 8 billion. And he says he believes that it's some of his, political politicking that eventually led to this, and that was his response back to that. Let's quickly look at some of the other headlines. I'm going to be talking about Omoyele Sowore. 2 years down the line, he's still being pinned down to Abuja. But I can tell you, at some point before a couple of weeks, month ago, his ID card that linked him as a Nigerian citizen were all deactivated. But I can tell us now that has come back on. So let's go to that. Omoyele Sowore, according to what we know, has now had the opportunity, according to the National Identity Management Commission, known as NIM, has reactivated the national identity number of Omoyele Sowore, the activist and also the Sahara Reporter publisher that has been kept in Abuja going to 3 years because he demanded a revolution. Mr. Sowore disclosed this on Monday yesterday. According to his Twitter handle, he expressed his happiness over the reactivation, which he attributed to the ultimatum he issued to the name to restore his name or face legal action. And we can say that let's hope that somebody else doesn't get being deactivated of being a citizen. Let's now touch some quickly. Yeah.
On that one before you move on. So now that his name has been reactivated, what advantage does that give him?
Well, I could see him probably maybe coming back. Remember, we have him on the Star Radio UK. He was while here in London. He was in the studio with us before the 2019 general election. But from what indication, maybe he might be contesting again. But as soon as that comes up, we will be having him, on the studio to speak to us. He's been speaking on different platforms, but we hope he'll be with us some of these days to come and give us whether he'll be contesting. But I can see some kind of indication. But if he was deactivated, I'm sure he won't be able to do so.
But let's digress a bit. Now, if how do you see his chances if he has to, contest once again? Do you think that this time around, because last time I think he was a third, he was the third,
the third force.
The third force there. But do you think that maybe this time around he will do much better?
Well, maybe a lot of the Nigerians will look into that, especially those that still believe that Nigeria can still be put together, Nigeria can work, as against those that say it's enough of Nigeria, let's come out of this vehicle, let's demand a full referendum to opt out. If we look at Tunisia as an example, I'm sure you probably pick up the news, that has been, in terms of their constitution, the whole constitution is going to be pulled down, and there will be a new constitution before December 17 this year, while going into a new election which is going to be a consultation. So a lot of things is happening in Nigeria. The chances of Omoyele Sowore still want to be the president, the chances of Nigerians voting for him would also determine whether Nigerians have suffered enough in the hands of the APC, and then they pick up Sowore as the option. Because when Sowore was contesting, he did say he was going to pay 100,000, but some of them say he was never going to pay that amount. But let's go back to APC. Some of the states are still owing salary to the tune of 2 months, 3 months, and that tells you that people can now start reflecting on whether APC is the option, PDP is the option, or a full referendum, or a total restructuring, or the put down of this constitution. There was a video that I've just picked up where Obasanjo was saying, we are sorry. There was a fault in terms of what we've done in the past. But maybe you're gonna pick up my camera off for about 2 seconds when we can prepare that video. It's just about a minute. But it will be good to know how these previous leaders are thinking according to what we believe that if they have not done it right, but they are saying there's still hope in Nigeria. But like I said, maybe under 30 seconds so that we can get that together. But it is still Star Radio UK, and then we're gonna come back again quickly with all other updates coming out of Nigeria. The 1st of February 2022.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, for you whilst you try to load a piece for you to view there. Just bear with us. You can listen to some of the stories that he's talking about this morning. It's quite worrying. I mean, what are the chances of Sowore? What do you think? Do you think that if he stands, would the EFCC or any of those groups, the rebel group, what is their name? I don't know what is stopping him from contesting. Or do you think that? Well, okay, so let's cross over to Yomi.
Okay, this is coming from, I believe he had a Zoom meeting, whether yesterday this Zoom meeting was, but this video has just popped up on the social media. Let's hear what the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, had to say to Nigerians during that conversation or interaction in that Zoom meeting.
Yep. Now, you see, you, Obina, you have everything going for you. And I don't want you to feel discouraged. Please, things are bad in Nigeria, but I believe it's only for a short time. Because it depends on you. Whatever my generation might have done wrong, and I will be the first to admit that my generation has done a lot wrong, it's for your generation to do it better. And don't just sit down and complain. Don't just sit down and complain. Sitting down and complain is like the anger of the cripple. You're on the same time, you will be on the same ground, on the same level. But you have to be proactive. And you have to make sure you get enough of what I call critical mass of people, like-minded people, who will be ready to say, yes, we can bring about a change. And you can bring about a change if you get the critical mass of people that are ready.
So you had him there. His generation has failed this previous generation of Nigerians, but they can still change things if they have the critical thinking and also in that conversation. A lot of Nigerians will be digesting this video because it has just surfaced out, and I can tell you the social media will be distributing this video, and that also indicates the question that a lot of Nigerians have been asking. If this generation hasn't done the right thing with the restructuring of the country, he was the president of the country for 8 years. Yes, a lot of people will say he tried his best, he did his best, he handed over, and things fall apart. But this time around, Nigerians must make that decision moving forward, whether the country owns or a full referendum, as the people that want that option and those that want the other option. There's a lot of mixed bags, but we will be able to see as how far all this will go in just under, let's look at the time clock on Star Radio UK before the general election coming. We are now exactly 374 days, 12 hours, 33 minutes, and the seconds keeps going down before the 2023 general election.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK, Mr. Olayomi Koiki Kojo, 11:26. Let's still go on with some of the other updates. But my question, but one that I wanted to ask about the former president's statement was, could he have gone a bit further, listing some of the areas that I think that, look, we did this and we failed the people. Maybe the oil, the way we've gone about it, a few things that would have helped a great deal.
Well, I'm just picking up a comment that is coming from one of our listeners, watching us on one of the platforms that we're streaming on. Yes, President Obasanjo, he did a lot of mistakes. A good example is the Land Use Act, which he passed into the law. Somebody also say, is Nigeria a federal republic? Certainly not. And that is part of the reason why we want Yoruba nation out of Nigeria. The fact that they call it Federal Republic of Nigeria doesn't make it so. And we've seen, one of the previous senators, Adeyeye, spoke about that. Maybe we will get that video ready for tomorrow, when he was saying the problem of this country is that we are not federal, but they keep talking about federal. Because when it's federal, that means everybody controls certain things like the police and certain other areas. But it doesn't seem so in Nigeria of today.
Well, listeners, I want you to answer that question. Do you think Nigeria, as we have it today, is a federal country or state? What do you think? I want to have your take on that one. Okay, let's go back to Yomi for some of the other stories making around.
Thank you very much. It's exactly coming up to 28 minutes past 11, 1st of February 2022 on Starr Radio UK. You can also make sure you listen to us on all our social media handles on Starr Radio UK. But the best way to follow us is you can download the apps, or you can just go to www.starradiouk.com, where you can find all the programs and different events that comes up from Monday to Friday. But this time around, it's called the Morning Show, where we take you around everything happening in Nigeria. According to some of the other headlines that we have here, Naptil Other rescue 61 trafficking victims in Katsina. That's the headline coming out of Nigeria this morning. Gunmen kill the ex-council boss, kidnap others in Kaduna is another headline. Banditry, police nabbed 37 suspects in Sokoto. Malpractice, WAEC release withheld result of the exonerate WAEC 2020 of the 2021 candidate. Nobody but my kids entitled to my money. Omoni Oboli tells the fans. APC February convention uncertain. Peace panel demand extension. We can tell, that's like we said, there's a lot of tension in not just the APC. They are meant to have their convention this month, but it seems also they are demanding a kind of expansion to see how they can bring people together. Malami to decide Electoral Act bill. The National Assembly transmit document to Buhari. Let's talk about this because quite a lot of Nigerians have been worried as the election is coming. Like I said, this transmission that has just gone through to the president Muhammadu Buhari on Monday has now received what we call the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. However, the fate of the bill will again be sealed by what we call the advisory that was presented by the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. According to the report in December, that Malami had in a letter advised the president against signing the Electoral Act because of the controversial mandatory primary, which has now been removed by the National Assembly. So you can see that, like I said, quite a lot is happening in Nigeria. Let's quickly touch on some of the other politics. We look at the business. We don't from tomorrow. We're going to have a lot to discuss. But on Wednesday, there's so much to discuss when it comes to everything in Nigeria with all the stakeholders that are now demanding to know their fate. According to the next headline here, Ambode thanks Lagosians for endorsement, asks you to get PVC. Remember, Ambode was the former governor of Lagos State that was kicked out, after a tussle between himself and the APC national leader, Bola Tinubu, that I believe is also in London here, preparing because he has declared he says he's the kingmaker, and sometimes the kingmaker can also be the king. He wants to contest under the APC platform to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's currently in London holding some kind of a meeting and engagement, and a lot of Nigerians are also concerned because 3 months is spent here under health reason. Some Nigerians are wondering whether it's not another kind of a president that will be coming and spend more time like Buhari did while he's still in power. That also is something that to look into. We talked about Okorocha 2023 presidency, reconsider your ambition, the clerks tell the northern aspirant. According to the rotation of this presidency, it's meant to go to the southeast, but it doesn't seem that is going to happen, according to even what Peter Obi. Peter Obi was also a former governor. I will run for president if PDP zones ticket to South, according to Peter Obi. He was the former Anambra State governor, says he will run for the post of the Nigerian president in 2023 if his party, the People's Democratic Party, zones its ticket to the southern region of the country. You might be wondering, or more of our listeners that are not from Nigeria, why do you have to zone the president across the country? Again, these are part of the issues that some Nigerians have said, if you then zone it to the north, which have held it for a very long time, compared to even the southeast that have hardly become the president of Nigeria, but the north prefer to hold to the power, because when you hold to the power, you have the opportunity to do as much of what you want to do. And these are part of the reasons, and so many other reasons, that people are saying that constitution, if you look at it based on the electoral voting in a pattern in Nigeria, some element of the other groups in the north has advantage as against others. Let's touch on the business before I come back again to you in the studio. People misrepresenting revenue collection issue in Anambra, according to ABGA. The National Assembly threatens sanction against MDA over secret loop site recruitment. Also, 243 firms jostled for CBN multi-billion naira loan scheme. Federal government probes 17 firms over breach of customer private data hike fine. Presidential initiative will boost electricity supply of 40 million people, according to the federal government. Marketers demand federal government clarification on subsidy removal. I'm going to touch on that one because that seems to be much more pertaining to an average Nigerian. The federal government has suspended that. We're expecting them to increase the petrol price this month, but it seems that the indication that people are going to be coming onto the street, there's going to be a kind of a protest, a lockdown, even from the Nigerian Labour Congress and a lot of other groups as well. That was suspended, but the Major Oil Marketer Association of Nigeria has said it's seeking clarification from the federal government on how the suspension of the petrol subsidy removal will affect the market operation. The federal government had last week suspended its plan to remove fuel subsidy in June this year. It also proposed to extend the subsidy removal implementation period for 18 months, saying it will engage the legislature for amendment. So we're going to have to wait and see what response we'll be getting back from the federal government as well. I'm going to touch on the health, then come back to you in the studio. It's exactly 11:34. Health is very, very important, just as so many Nigerians are now seeking help in terms of a different kind of a remedy, rather than going to the public hospital or the healthcare center. And so many people are dying of some of the symptoms that is well treated across Nigeria, in terms of the other part of the globe. COVID-19 exposed Nigerian health institution. This is coming from Femi Gbajabiamila. He's the Speaker of the House of Rep. We know across the globe, here in UK, it's still a big issue. Not just that alone, it has affected a lot of businesses. It has affected the community. I was in London Heathrow Airport this morning, Mr. Archie, before returning back home. And I could tell you, that there's still this demand that if you're traveling out of the country, you must have done what we call the PCR to whatever country you're going to 72 hours before you embark on the journey. You must be vaccinated in some countries that you're traveling to. So it's a big issue across the globe, has had impact. Just like you were saying before I came on air, that even people still believe that Boris Johnson is doing so much to bring back the economy after the COVID. But according to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, says the COVID-19 pandemic exposed Nigerians' health institutions, which necessitate some intervention from the health. He assured that the National Assembly will continue to provide funds to strengthen the Nigerian health sector in terms of infrastructure and others. The first question will be asked is, if the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria seeks medical help in the United Kingdom, then the health system will be as bad as whatever you might think. I'll come back again to you in the studio. It's Star Radio UK.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you, bringing you updates from Nigeria. We've got Mr. Frank Davis in the house as well. I think he wants to say hello to Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Frank, good morning to you.
Morning, Olayomi. Good morning to you.
I could see Frank still have that sunshine face. I thought by now it would have been coming off, but it seems, it's good to see you again. Good morning,
In
Frank.
fact, I captured some sunshine in my back when I was coming.
Please
So
do not let it
this
go.
morning,
I'm sure we did it here.
I'll open a bit of it. I'll get to the technology. How is the family?
We're doing very well. We give thanks.
Good. I will talk after the program.
Definitely.
Yes. Okay. So let's just try to run up the conversation. But let me straight on to one of the stories that you highlighted that we've not touched on. That's Nnamdi Kanu. They say that the story alleging that Nnamdi Kanu, because of his refusal to accept bribes and houses that's being given by the federal government is why he's still in the custody of my group of people. I mean, how true is that?
Well, the question you should ask is, whether there's a concern that, the magnitude of the impact of Nnamdi Kanu, to the southeast is having a big effect within that area, within that region. Yes, the autopilot at its called, the sit down at home is still taking place. We saw the amendment charges on Nnamdi Kanu on his last court appearance. But the question a lot of people are saying is, what will be done, to keep him in there till 2023? So again, definitely, there might be some kind of inducement apart from him saying it is Biafra or nothing else. According to what we know, Nnamdi Kanu refusal to accept cash bribe houses from the Nigerian government, reason for his continued detention, according to the information coming out. Nnamdi Kanu has refused that. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has said the Nigerian government is keeping his leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in the custody of the Department of the State Service because he declined monetary and land offer to make him forsake Biafra agitation. According to the group, some persons have promised to help President Muhammadu Buhari government to make Nnamdi Kanu bow to pressure, hence trying to cause division among the IPOB. But it doesn't seem that is working, because the last time he was in court, he was more jovial, he was more happy. You can tell from his face, and that shows a strong message to those of his followers that are in their millions across the globe.
Well, we hope that he wasn't just showing that, but because the judge said, make sure that when he's coming in, he changes his clothing. Now he came in, was wearing the same clothes, came in the following season, wearing the same, so it's like, it's Nnamdi Kanu now decided that, look, in protest, I'm going to be wearing the same thing, whether you like it or not. We're not very sure, but we hope that he's being treated fairly or well there. Now, what are some of the other stories making the rounds on the social media platform before?
Well, the social media has been bouncing back and forward. It's about the PVC. It's about everything that you can think of. But because of the time constraint, let's just quickly look at what is trending in Nigeria this morning on the social media. It's all about, the first greeting of the month. February is trending. Peter Obi is trending on number 5. Quite an interesting one. Remember, he says, PDP brings that to Southwest. He would think of contesting as well. I could see Rihanna is, trending. A lot of the Nigerians are into, music and so on and so forth. But let's just type in Nigeria and see what pops up as quickly as possible. It's coming up to 11:40. And I could tell you, it's all about everything from anything. Most important thing is that, a lot of Nigerians are using Twitter now after the lifting of Twitter by the federal government of Nigeria. And people say it's all about the election that is around the corner. That is why the federal government have done so. But I can tell you, so many Nigerians have been discussing about the PVC. According to Adetutu Balogun at Tutsi 22, if Nigerian youth are serious about claiming their country back from the principality or evil power, for the rulers of darkness over Nigeria, for the spiritual wickedness in high places, work with Peter Obi and give him the chance. Let's also look at some of the other tweets from those that do not agree with Nigeria as of today. Let's look at Ilano UK, which is one of the the chapter representing the people from the the self-determination group that have also continuously said it is a peaceful movement And the leader of the group, Professor Banji Akintoye, spoke that it will be done without a bloodshed. But about 8 hours ago, they tweeted, Tunisia president said the parliamentary of Tunisia would remain suspended until the Tunis vote for a replacement assembled on the 17th of December 2022. Constitution must be imposed on the people by the decade, as is the case with the hashtag Nigeria 1999 Constitution, hashtag Yoruba Nation, and that will be from it. I'll come back now to you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
There's one thing that you see, if you look at Ghana and Nigeria, our political movements like it are anyone who now wants to come in as a savior for the people, after what happened with Akufo-Addo and Buhari, where the judgment of the majority today will tell you that it was like two women approaching a lady, one promising I have little and money, and one promising if you agree and move to my house, or if you agree to go out with me, I'll turn your life around, I'll buy you a car, I'll do everything. Only agree to get to the lady, realize that so this my brother's room, let's share it for 1 month, and then we'll move to my own apartment. My own apartment takes 4 years. My own apartment, where the car comes in, they are not manufacturing the car. They are not manufacturing the car of engine. So basically, deception that people, because when Buhari was coming, people have high hopes that this is a man who has been there before. This is a man who was in uniform, went there to sort things out. He left the scene. He knows the system. He knows how to fix things. Especially the terrorist attack that we are under, he's coming to fix it. He's a man of the uniform. People were happy to see him. He was like a junior Jesus coming in to save the people. What I'm saying. When there's no president again that will have the will, the support of the people like Akufo-Addo did before he came to power. But the two of them have woefully failed. Anyone determining or trying to ascend to the presidency again, thinking that they are going to talk their way, just make certain. I'm saying that because of what the land, there are people who want to get it. The principalities out. No. People now have to be prepared to go beyond rhetoric and prove to people that look, we are not Buhari. But when we say we do this, these are the plans, and this is what we do from the one, hold me accountable if I don't do it. This one, but to just come in and say, oh, this is it, I think. Buhari and Akufo-Addo killed that. They killed that.
Well, if you want to apply for or stand in for leadership of your country, then you have to now change the template. Well, that template that you use is now that point. You can't use that one again. Well, Yomi, let me say thank you very much for that wonderful update from Nigeria.
Make sure you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because you still have Frank and Archie and Kojo D to take you through the remaining part of the segment of this morning show. I'll be back again same time tomorrow at 11 o'clock. But the best way to stay tuned with us is don't touch the dial. It's Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. A very good afternoon to those watching us from Nigeria. Good morning to those of you that are still here in the United Kingdom. And from me, again, I'll be on tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye. Well, that was update from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki, the maiden edition for the year 2022. I'm going to be back tomorrow and we're going to be looking at some other stories making the rounds.